Hi friends, this is Mainak Misra and welcome back to my channel. Today I will discuss with you one of the most important films of 21st century, Downfall. A war is a curse to humanity. It does not do any good to anybody. World War II created the worst indelible scar in the history of mankind. There is a limit to personal ambition. There is a limit of aggression. And when that limit is broken, the person and the state will have the worst downfall, much like Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. More than 70 million lives were massacred in World War II. More than 6 million European Jews were killed in the Holocaust. Millions of other minority and ethnic people like Serbs, Slavs, Poles, Gypsies, Romanis were also killed. Downfall shows that crimes and atrocities are committed by humans who belong to this earth. They do not descend upon from some far-off stars or planets. They eat, talk, move like normal humans. But behind those apparent normal humans exist the most brutal monsters ever existed on this planet. Filmmaker Oliver Hirschbiegel portrays those human-like monsters in Downfall. Now let's discuss the story. The film starts with the interview process of a group of young women for the position of Hitler's secretary, and the interview is happening in Wolf's Lair. Finally, Hitler selects Traudl Junge as his personal secretary, which makes her jubilant. Then the film fast forward to April 1945, when Soviet Red Army is increasingly cornering the Nazi German army. Amid heavy firing and shelling on Berlin city center, Adolf Hitler celebrates his 56th birthday. Reichsfuhrer Himmler requests Hitler to start negotiating with the Allies, which he outrightly rejects. Gruppenführer Fegelein also requests him to leave Berlin, but he rejects that as well. Even though SS Doctor Ernst Gunther Sank is ordered to leave Berlin, he stays back to provide medical treatment to wounded Nazi soldiers. Hitler Youth member Peter Kranz refers to his father as coward, as he urges him to come back and not to fight, to leave fight. He does not see any future there. Despite tremendous pressure and attack, Hitler doesn't want to surrender at all. The pressure and attack from all sides of Berlin. He realizes that, but he is in no mood to surrender. He orders the Ninth Army not to retreat. He adds the 12th Army led by General Steiner, Felix Steiner, in the counterattack. He orders Albert Speer to carry out the scorched earth policy. Peter Kranz is awarded with the Iron Cross. In spite of retreat, Helmut Weidling is promoted as the commander of entire Berlin. And in that horrible situation, Eva Braun, Hitler's longtime partner, throws a party. Her brother-in-law Fegelein advises her to leave Berlin with Hitler. And Hitler comes to know that Steiner failed to counterattack, which enrages him to a great extent. Finally, he acknowledges that the war is lost and he blames his generals for the defeat. However, he does not want to surrender at all. German army summarily executes the senior citizens who try to flee from Berlin instead of taking part in the resistance. And Hermann Göring sends a telegram to Hitler asking for Germany's leadership. And he is extremely angry hearing that news that he wants Germany's leadership. He orders his arrest and dismissal from all the positions. Albert Speer meets him at Führer bunker and admits not carrying out the scorched earth policy. But Hitler does not punish him. Peter comes to know that all of his group members have been killed. He rushes back home. Hitler keeps ordering imaginary forces and contemplating irrational strategies. While having dinner, he comes to know that Himmler tried to negotiate with the Allies in secret, which enrages him to a great extent, and he orders Himmler's execution. Fegelein is also executed as he failed to counterattack. SS Dr. Groitz kills himself and his family members when his request to leave Berlin was denied. And the Soviet Red Army is increasingly cornering the German army. They keep marching in Berlin. At the midnight of 29th April, Hitler dictates his last will to Tradl Junge, his secretary, and then he marries his longtime partner Eva Braun. His last hope, 12th Army, led by General, I'm forgetting the name, in the counterattack, and he failed that. Wanker, I am remembering now, Walter Wank, 12th Army led by Walter Wank, but he failed to protect Berlin, resisting the Soviet Red Army. And then there is nothing else to do. He kills his beloved dog Blondie, administering potassium cyanide, bids goodbye to the remaining staff at Führer bunker, and then commits suicide along with Eva Braun. As per his wish, their bodies are cremated by Nazi soldiers with petrol at the Reich Chancellery Garden. After Hitler's suicide, and as per his will, Joseph Goebbels becomes the Chancellor of Germany. He too does not want to surrender at any cost and wants to keep fighting. Hans Krabs, General Hans Krabs fails to negotiate Germany's conditional surrender in front of Georgy Zhukov, Soviet Marshal. On 1st May 1945, Magda Goebbels kills her 6 children administering potassium cyanide. And then the Goebbels commit suicide. Nazi soldiers cremate their bodies with petrol as well at the Reich Chancellery Garden. General Helmut Weidling signs Germany's unconditional surrender to the Allies, and a hell breaks down upon the Nazi soldiers. Hearing that news, many soldiers, including Hans Krabs, commit suicide. Peter comes to know that his parents have been executed. He joins Todel Yonge. They walk past the Soviet soldiers and then cycle away from Berlin. This is the story. After the film's release, viewers all over the world criticized Hirschbiegel for showing sympathy toward the Nazi soldiers as well as Adolf Hitler. However, this is not true. He is not taking any sides at all. Only he is showing that all those crimes and atrocities were committed by humans who belonged to this earth, and they did not descend upon earth from some far-off planets or stars. Hitler would love his dog Blondie, have regular lunch and dinner with his secretaries, play with the Goebbels children, describe Magda Goebbels as the bravest mother in the Reich. So all these did not happen in a day. Those crimes and atrocities were committed through a well-defined, thought of, and deeply rooted organic strategy that was planned and executed by Nazi soldiers in cold blood for a very long time. And Hirschbiegel shows that organic strategy, that organic process in Downfall. He shows another important point: the evil of totalitarian and authoritarian dictatorship. Centralizing entire power, Adolf Hitler ruled Germany for over a decade. He was the commander-in-chief of all armies, air, water, and land. Nobody had the courage to question him. One person cannot have all the abilities to run a country. When a country does not have a discussion forum, a country does not have consensus, then it is bound to fail, and that's what happened to Germany. There was no discussion forum. There was not a single decision which was taken without Hitler. So when a country is totally dependent on a single person, if he goes in a wrong direction, then the country will also go in a wrong direction. And when he progresses much, then there is no possibility of coming back. The entire country will suffer because of one person's mistake, and that's what happened to Germany. Entire country turned into debris after World War II. More than 70 million lives were massacred, 66 million European Jews were killed, millions of other people were killed. But the question remains the same. Why did an entire country support a single person? There is no denying the fact that Adolf Hitler had strong influence on the citizens of Germany. There are people who at first attract the masses with their visions and spells and then carry out enormous destruction, devastation. And Hitler was a person of that kind. He had such a strong influence that Magda Goebbels could not see the future of her children in Germany without National Socialism. Her hands did not shiver while administering potassium cyanide to her 6 children. Such was the influence. So quite naturally, he progressed far. And when the country might have realized they cannot do anything, the citizens only saw the devastations, an entire country turning into debris. Producer of this film and screenwriter Eichinger, Bernd Eichinger, wanted to make a film on the last days of Hitler for over 20 years. However, he did not have the courage to proceed forward because of the scale and size of this film, scope of this film. And when the memoir of Trudel Younger, Until the Final Hour, and the novel by German historian Joachim Feist came out inside Hitler's bunker, that time he decided that this is the time to go ahead with the film. He wrote a detailed screenplay and then he approached Oliver Hirschbiegel to direct the film. Initially, Hirschbiegel did not want to do it because of the subject, but later on he proceeded forward to make it an honest attempt. He wanted to make the film honestly and truthfully. And viewers all over the world admit that this film is the closest possible film from the Nazi side. Because all the films that are related to World War II are from the Allies side. So this is the first film and first German film which shows Hitler's final days from Nazi side. And it's really a very honest and truthful film. An extremely well-made film. And the most striking phenomenon of this film is Bruno Ganz's portrayal of Adolf Hitler. He prepared for his role for over 4 months, watching again and again the Hitler and Mannerheim recording. He dug so deeper into the role that Hitler's body language, body movements, shaking left hand, and his Austrian dialect, rages, everything came quite naturally to him. And he was outstanding. He looks like an exact replica of Hitler in the film. Alexandra Maria Lara as Trudel Yonge is quite convincing and brings freshness to the screen. She superbly portrays Trudel Yonge's admiration, faith, and love for the Führer. However, during the interview of original Trudel Yonge at the start and end of the film, she clearly states that she had done terrible mistake by taking her role or position as Hitler's personal secretary. At that point of time, she was not aware of the horrendous crimes being committed. Corinna Harfouch portrays an outstanding Nazi woman, and when Adolf Hitler describes her as the bravest mother in the Reich, she is outstanding. She shows that passion in her body language, emotion, and eyes. Her unconditional belief and faith on the Führer is clearly visible through the portrayal of Magda Goebbels by Corinna Harfouch. Entire cast delivers outstanding performance. And regarding cinematography, Rainer Klossmann's documentary-styled handheld cinematography realistically captures the Battle of Berlin, the final days of the Third Reich. His camera brilliantly captures the intimate moments of the Nazi leaders, including Adolf Hitler. Viewers get to see and feel the claustrophobic situation at the Führer bunker. Brilliant cinematography. And during the war scenes, the editing by Hans Funk is brilliant too, and his editing, dynamic editing, looks extremely convincing and authentic. In addition to cinematography, editing also makes the film extremely dynamic. And music, regarding music, music is the original soundtracks convey the mood and theme of the film by Stefan Zacharias. Stephen Zacharias is the music director, and the original soundtracks convey that mood, the terror, the destruction, the devastation. That mood can be clearly felt through his outstanding soundtracks, original soundtracks. Production designer Bernd Lappel also did outstanding job. He brilliantly built the Führer bunker on the set in Bavaria studio in Munich. Downfall was filmed in Munich, Berlin, and St. Petersburg. War scenes were recreated incredibly skillfully and organically. However, Hirschbiegel didn't want to use much CGI effects in the film, so only Reich chancellery was created using CGI. Apart from that, there is no CGI sequences. So he artificial things he totally avoided. And that's why the war sequences were filmed organically. And those were really shot and filmed in studio. So Downfall is a brilliant film, incredibly brilliant film. And one thing I must tell that it's and powerfully, incredibly powerfully, authentically, organically, skillfully created or recreated cinematic rate based on Hitler's as well as Nazi Germany's last or final days. It's an outstanding film, and everything, whatever close to truth, is shown or portrayed in the film. So I think you have already seen this film because everybody knows about this film. You cannot miss it. And if you have not seen, then please see this film. And if you have any comment, put it down below so that I come to know about your comment, your feelings about this film. And thank you so much for watching this video. And request goes again, please subscribe to my channel. Please press the bell icon so that you do not miss regular updates. Thank you so much.